Here we are again with kdenlive. Doing my usual Monday of syncing everything and merging. But I'm not going to bother if it doesn't look relevant insofar. I think we're good. Let me check what our development environment build is doing here. I recently upgraded my NixOS, and it looks like it's going to be compiling GCC. I don't think so. I don't really want it to compile GCC. Oh my goodness. I think it needs to compile everything. Not going to wait on that, that's for sure. So as part of my development environment, I lock the version of all dependencies, and that's Nix packages, which is all my dependencies. And what I'm going to do here is similar to any other submodule or package dependency I have. I have a Git module that represents that dependency, and it's locked to a specific revision. And I have updated my release of Nix packages according to my continuous integration and continuous deployment server, which updates this branch of Nix packages whenever it passes all my tests in addition to the NixOS unstable tests. So what I'm going to do, since I last upgraded, I moved from release representing release to master representing release, which is consistent with, it seems what a lot of people are doing these days, and it makes a lot of sense. That's the one people are going to check out. So let us go ahead and 5,809 commits. Okay, now let's see what Nix says I need to rebuild. I suspect it's going to be far, far less because this is my current build of everything. Yep, as you can see, only two things are going to be built, movit and MLT, which are the custom checkouts of MLT and movit I'm using to develop on. And you'll notice that it's downloading the development build instead of building the development build of all these libraries from my current build server. And it's already done that, and it's moved on to, looks like movit, I believe. So while that is going, I'm going to go back to this kdenlive. What was going on last time was what I thought. Let's discard draft. That's already been posted. Oh, look at that. Doesn't even get my name right. Whatever. So anyways, I thought there's incorrect usage of a single Globit movit resource pool, as the title says here. Still not sure that this isn't the case. However, it is mitigated by this Q application, set attribute, AA, share OpenGL context, which should use a single application-wide share context to initialize all the other contexts, which means they will all be sharing resources application-wide. So this resource pool, no matter what context, as long as it's set by Qt or initialized by Qt, is with the share thing, is it will be an appropriate one for that context. So the question is this PBO1. And my build environment is up to date once again with all the changes for the newest release of KDE. I forgot to request kdenlive's build itself to use the new updates, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So yeah, still a question about this PBO management aspect, but I'm still reading through this one. There is one change that should be fairly easy, is in main.cpp. We have a bunch of set attributes, including this one, share OpenGL contexts. This option is required by the OpenGL usage of MLT because of this global resource pool aspect. However, this is not clear from this code. So this code is only showing the physical implementation of some requirement or goal. It's not actually showing the logic behind it or conceptually why it is required. Fortunately, this is very easy to solve. You literally just take this chunk of code and you put it in a function that captures the why. And inside that function, in its definition, is the logic, where you say the why of this function. So we're going to name this, let's see what we got. Where would be a good place to put this? I'd almost say, I'm just going to put it in this folder for now. And we're going to name it acceleration.cpp. I'm going to take some consideration of this being okay. Grab a standard prefix here. Change it up for me. Code is copyrighted myself because I wrote it, except for this little copyright notice. But the copyright is assigned to kdenlive by the license I'm using. Do they put a little? Nope, they don't. Okay. So now I have a folder, sorry, not a folder, a header that defines the interface to some acceleration framework. Ooh. these are not already sorted definitions. They're kind of all over the place, so I'll put it in this group up here. And get away here. Yo. There we go. And similar to acceleration.h, we're actually going to create the proper acceleration.cpp. Again, with that header, include C++. Okay. Typically, I would do a namespace here and not a class with a static member. Yeah, see, there we go. Project manager. Okay. So what am I going to name this? See any namespace for just KDE stuff? Definitions, class. No. I don't like that. Where the heck does this P core come from? Okay. So we have a bit of unknown initialization order here. As I recall, this must be initialized before the application. Mm-hmm. Okay, so not super happy with this. Needs to be initialized, and specifically we're talking it needs to be built using build we actually have GUI, which is rather funny. It's right pcore and then init GUI right after each other, but that's all right. We'll keep with that. Built using build, yeah, build, and then dot init GUI before any widgets are created in main window. Anytime you have this initialization process must follow a specific order, you can use our AII, I believe, resource acquisition, is initialization, resource acquisition, yeah, I think that's right, to enforce that on the type level. I don't really... So specifically, pre-Q, application, initialization, using init pre. Post Q application. I highly suspect these two can be combined, but where init GUI. Yeah, we'll go for that. I think that's fine. So then in core, that means public. It's a singleton. Why would that be public anyway? It's a static build, static init GUI. So we'll do brief. Oops. Let's actually move this prior to build. Brief. And we're going to prototype the type, void init, what do I call it? Init pre-app, yep. Prior to Q application instantiation. All right, well, this itself isn't very interesting. Okay, so we're just gonna go to the core, CPP, and we're gonna find ourselves the build method, and then we're gonna add ourselves the init preapp method here. And the init preapp is going to okay, so now we have all this stuff. Oh, looks like they do post. There we go. Except for creation init preapp. Yeah, I like that. Acceleration. If I can, acceleration manager. I don't really want it to be a queue object. I really don't see any reason why it would need to be a queue object. Oh, I see. It's removing these default implementations. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. Dem's great. How do they do? Let's see. They're all the way out. Okay, so we'll do public. And virtual manager. It really doesn't want to be in C++ mode, does it? What is it? C++. No. Nope. Wow, I really don't remember. I thought it was C++. Ah. Nope. Whatever. I don't remember. I really Really? Maybe this is an issue with... Oh. All right. That's an issue with evil. I had it right. Just evil doesn't handle that on the whatever EX line. Okay. So let's see whatever prefixes we get. Yeah, let's write that. Yeah, problem with writing that so often. Okay, any other prefix? Include. Nope. Anything up here? What was it? Main. .cpp. That looks important. This does not need to be there. Put there. Let's see where these managers are. Brief returns a pointer to the acceleration manager. So it's kind of a funny comment because I know it returns a pointer. That's what the type says. Now this acceleration manager, I don't intend to actually do much aside from manage the threads for the MLT consumers. I want them to cooperate on their threads. The reason behind that is because, of course, acceleration is supposed to be a limited resource. If they're not cooperating and both of them assume they can acquire all the acceleration threads, then, well, bad things. So we have this acceleration manager. Where did I put that? For these kind of, not really alphabetical order. And then add the usual. You know, directly working with the pointers is not my kind of thing. So we'll do there we go. Now I don't have to do any of this initialization or deleting here. It'll just work how I want. And right now we're just going to say acceleration manager doesn't do anything. Also doesn't do anything. They seem to like this one, huh? Like that, but I'm going to do acceleration manager init pre-app, which is going to include this chunk of code. I mean, that's entirely possible. So I don't like that being named init pre-map. Let's say init global resources. I think that's a bit closer to what we're doing. And now here, I can say why this is the I'll just say instances that use movit are referencing a resource pool that can I make that a macro? I'm not a macro, an assert in here. I like to assert my preconditions. Okay, so that should be a wee bit better. We'll actually put these just like this. There's no order and dependence here, so we'll just not bother. Okay, I like that a wee bit better. Now, I don't know what this thing's complaining about. Usually that indicates an error, that underline with fly check, but it says nothing doing. Okay. So now let's go back to the beginning here, and we have, as part of core, pre-app initialization, and it's easy to verify that it's pre-app, and the name says that we need to do it pre-app. It really doesn't say what it does, but I don't really know. A good description that would cover this requirement, aside from it needs to be prior to Queue application instantiation. So then we have Queue application instantiation after this. So in init pre-app, we have some other pre-application initialization that looks important that I'm not really going to touch. And then the idea of global acceleration resources, which are delegated brief management of global acceleration resources, such as OpenGL filter acceleration. So then we also have this acceleration manager, which is a clear responsibility, management of the global acceleration resources, and it actually we'll do pre-app. I'm going to go back to pre-app again, since it's very clear that it must occur pre-app. And this is kind of a chain. I like to keep the names the same in that kind of chain. And we have some documentation describing what the required initialization order is. Now, of course, it would be nice if instead of documentation describing this, it would be enforced with the types, but we'll go for that. And now hit the build button. to which should surprise nobody, the first compile failed, of course. Let's see what we got. After class definition. Oh, that was accurate. Really? Is that... Oh, C++ and your love of semicolons. That might be a bug with Flight Check UI that it's not showing me that error in some type of highlight. I will never understand anymore the love of semicolons. Really, all these semicolons, all of them, they're useless. Useless. We have parser technology that is well capable of dealing with the lack of semicolons in all of this code. There's really absolutely no reason for it, except for one, where for people, I think semicolons totally useless. For robots and generated code, they're pretty handy. I quite like, well, this is still compiling. I quite like Haskell's syntax, where it has a syntax called do, which can either be nicely indent sensitive, and it looks great for humans. Oh my. Right? Looks great for humans. This can also be written prefixed with a curly bracket with semicolons, which is very nice for generated code. And I like that. So while this is compiling, it looks like it got past all the critical bit. What I'm going to do is a class manager to manage global acceleration resources. Yeah, not too surprised. All right, what did I miss? Unterm if not def. Really? Define and def. Huh. Actually, you know what? Ooh. There we go. Show head and let's see what this looks like. The one thing I disagree with is not naming header files after the class that they are named after. Yet, Okay, no, there is actually one thing like that. Okay, so what that means instead is yep, okay. That's not too surprising because I haven't added acceleration to the list of object files to compile. But we're going to do kind of like what these kids did, acceleration, and I am going to rename file and buffer to acceleration manager.h chunk manager, and then we'll rename this one as appropriate and rename file and buffer once again to acceleration manager.cpp, and we will do, that is my cat like so. And under core, does it directly include, oh, yep, project manager, acceleration manager. And as mentioned, it's not added to, it's not added to the make lists. So let's find said make list and add subdirectory. Acceleration. Let's see what's in these CMake lists. Add subdirectory. Oh yeah, that's fine. Actually, I'll just do acceleration CMake lists.text. Reopen it. And we're not going to do that. We're just, acceleration manager.cpp. And I believe should be smart enough to pick up the reconfiguration. Acceleration. By the way, I should go after that. Helps if I can consistently spell acceleration, huh? All right, here we go. Good, good, good. All right. What in the? The fun part about VI is you miss a tap for a few times and, well, everything explodes. Okay. So now I think I have a nice commit to, ooh, like that. What the heck did it do? Must be some white space elimination. Yeah, white space elimination. My editor is set to do that automatically for everything, which is great. You should always have your robots auto format stuff for you. Never do it yourself. Be lazy. I think I'll keep it. See if they mind. If I was a project maintainer, some project maintainers are like, keep these purely stylistic changes separate from blah, blah, blah. However, when I'm a project maintainer, if I see a change like this, I don't. This is an improvement, and insisting that it's submitted separately from, other changes to open source developers, you're not paying me nothing. I'm not paying you anything if you're contributing to my open source projects. I'll take whatever improvements I get, as I get them. I wouldn't even blink at that. I'm not sure about these maintainers. Maybe they are sticklers about that type of thing. Maybe not. We will find out. I'm going to find out after I test. Actually, we'll go ahead and open it as work in progress on GitLab. So this should let me, yep. 1 hour, 1 change. How about that title? Work in progress, small. Accelerate. Extend factor to application visualization for clarity. Target branch, change branches. We actually want it to be a refactoring timeline. really sure why it doesn't default to that. Might be missing something. It lost all of that. Thank you. I don't suppose it was smart enough to retain it. Okay. Man. All right, now back to this. Let's do. Copy. Let's delete this guy. Please review for direction and style. Of testing. I like that it has this option. Oh dear. I'm just going to say ignore. I want to get this at least started before 10:30 so they can check it out, because I'm going to stop my stream then. And I want some measure of progress to be evident. So let's chunka. Oh dear. Oh dear. No. What in the universe? What? I'm not really sure what's up with that. Okay. Let's do that. Why are you 51? Makes no sense whatsoever. What? Something weird happened with the merging. I don't really understand what's going on here with GitLab reporting such a difference in histories. I thought all of this was merged back into upstream. Anyways, I'm going to figure out that mystery and get back.